I walked through the Bellagio last Tuesday night, and it didn't feel like Vegas anymore. The air used to buzz with energy. Slot machines ringing, roulette wheels spinning, people yelling across the tables like they were part of one giant party. But now, you can actually hear your own footsteps. Dealers stand around waiting for someone, anyone, to sit down. The cocktail servers look exhausted, walking circles around half-empty tables. And the saddest part? This isn't some slow Tuesday in February. This is Vegas in 2025. For decades, this city was the capital of gambling, a place where people came to feel alive, to take risks, to chase that one-in-a-million jackpot. But somewhere along the way, the gamblers left, and they didn't just disappear. They found something better, or at least something easier. Because while the casinos were busy charging resort fees and parking surcharges, a new casino opened up, one that doesn't have velvet ropes or long check-in lines. It's on your phone. And now, every slot machine, every blackjack table, every roulette wheel that used to be inside these walls is sitting quietly inside a pocket. This is the story of how online gambling destroyed Las Vegas and why the Strip may never recover.
Part 1. The shift begins. The first cracks in Vegas's armor didn't happen overnight. They started quietly in living rooms, dorm rooms, and office cubicles halfway across the world. Around the early 2000s, a few small websites began offering something that sounded ridiculous at the time: online poker. You'd log onto your computer, deposit a few dollars, and play cards against strangers who might be sitting in London, Sydney, or Kansas City. No pit boss, no cocktail waitress, no neon lights. Just a screen, a mouse, and a rush of adrenaline when you won a hand. Most people in Vegas didn't take it seriously. They saw it as a niche hobby, like fantasy football with cards. After all, who would want to gamble online when you could walk through the doors of Caesar's Palace, feel the air conditioning hit your face, and hear the hum of 1,000 slot machines firing at once? But that's the thing about technology. It starts small, and it always gets better. As internet speeds improved, so did the games. The websites added colorful interfaces, chat rooms, bonuses, and loyalty programs. Suddenly, people weren't just playing cards. They were part of a global gambling community. Then came the money. Millions of players joined in, and billions of dollars started flowing through these digital casinos. It wasn't just poker anymore. It was blackjack, roulette, sports betting, and even digital slot machines that mimicked the same sounds and lights of the real thing. The strangest part, you didn't even have to go anywhere. You could play while sitting at your kitchen table, while watching TV, or even while pretending to work. Vegas didn't notice, or maybe it didn't want to. The Strip was still booming. New towers were going up, hotel occupancy was high, and every weekend, tourists poured in from around the world. To the casino owners, online gambling was just background noise, a passing trend, something that would burn out once people got bored. But they were wrong, because that passing trend was quietly training an entire generation of gamblers to stop thinking about casinos as destinations and start seeing them as apps. And once that mindset changed, there was no going back.
Part 2. Vegas's overconfidence. Las Vegas always seemed to believe it was untouchable. The city had survived everything: recessions, scandals, the mob, corporate takeovers, and each time it bounced back bigger and shinier than before. So when online gambling started making headlines, the executives on the Strip didn't panic. They smirked. They told themselves that no website could ever replace the Vegas experience: the sights, the sounds, the atmosphere, the feeling of holding chips in your hands, watching the dice roll, and knowing that your fate could change in an instant. They were right, in a way. The magic of Vegas isn't just about gambling, it's about the illusion of glamour, the idea that for one weekend, you can live like someone else. That's what the casinos sold, and they thought that illusion would protect them forever. But while Vegas was banking on nostalgia, the rest of the world was moving on. Players didn't care about chandeliers or marble floors. They cared about accessibility. They wanted quick bets, instant payouts, and a way to gamble without dropping hundreds of dollars on flights, food, and overpriced rooms. And when online platforms started offering all of that, plus bonuses, loyalty points, and cash back offers, the choice became obvious. Meanwhile, the Strip made one crucial mistake. It got greedy. Vegas stopped rewarding the average gambler. Free drinks became watered down. Parking stopped being free. Table minimums went from $5 to $25, and even the so-called budget buffets turned into luxury dining experiences. The regular folks, the ones who made Vegas what it was, stopped feeling welcome. And while the casinos doubled down on high rollers and influencers, online gambling quietly welcomed everyone else with open arms. For the first time in its history, Vegas wasn't competing against another city, it was competing against convenience. And convenience always wins. By the time the Strip realized what was happening, it was already too late. The gamblers had found a new home, and it wasn't on Las Vegas Boulevard anymore.
Part 3. Pandemic Acceleration. When the pandemic hit, Las Vegas did something it had never done before. It went silent. The neon still glowed, but there was no one to see it. Casino floors that had buzzed nonstop for decades were suddenly dark. Slot machines sat in eerie silence, still flashing, but with no hands to pull their levers. For the first time since the 1940s, the city that never slept actually did. To most people, it was surreal. To Vegas, it was devastating. Thousands of dealers, waitresses, pit bosses, valets, and performers were sent home overnight. Hotels closed entire towers. Even the most famous casinos, the Bellagio, Caesars, MGM, had to lock their doors. But something else was happening quietly in those same weeks. Millions of gamblers who were used to playing in person suddenly found themselves stuck at home, restless, bored, and looking for that familiar rush. And right there, on their phones, were hundreds of new gambling apps waiting to fill the void. Within months, the numbers exploded. Poker sites saw player counts triple. Online slot platforms reported record profits. Sports betting apps launched live streams where users could watch games and bet instantly from their couches. And once people got used to it, they didn't want to stop. Vegas finally reopened in mid-2021, expecting a grand comeback. But something had changed. The crowds came back, but not the gamblers. Tables sat half full. Locals started noticing the difference. Fewer high rollers, more tourists taking selfies instead of betting. The Strip felt performative, like a museum version of itself. And the casinos realized something terrifying. Those online gamblers they lost during lockdown weren't coming back. Ever. The convenience had won. No waiting for a drink, no crowded elevators, no flights or resort fees, just instant access to the same games, with the same odds, and a bigger chance at bonuses. COVID didn't create the problem for Vegas, it just exposed it. Because while the Strip was sleeping, the future of gambling was already wide awake, glowing quietly from every smartphone screen in America. Part 4. The casino's new enemy, the phone. There's an old saying in Vegas, the house always wins. But these days, the house isn't made of marble and glass. It fits in your hand. The smartphone became the most powerful casino ever built. It never closes, never asks for ID, never cuts you off when you've had too much. It's the perfect dealer, fast, invisible, and always ready to take your money. Think about it. Your phone can do everything Vegas used to promise. Instant gratification, flashing lights, free rewards, dopamine on demand. Every app notification is a mini slot machine. Every spin again button is another pull of the lever. The sound, the colors, the animations, they've all been designed by psychologists to trigger the same chemical reactions gamblers used to chase in the real world. And unlike Vegas, your phone never judges you. There's no pit boss watching your every move, no stranger sitting too close at the table, just you, your screen, and an algorithm that knows exactly how to keep you playing. Some of the biggest online casinos now make more money in a single quarter than entire resort chains on the Strip. The MGM Grand might have 2,500 slot machines, but your phone has millions. These digital casinos use data the old Vegas could only dream of. They track every bet, every loss, every time you almost win, and they use that data to pull you right back in. When Vegas built loyalty programs, it was about points and free rooms. When the apps build loyalty, it's about psychology. Personalized offers, loss recovery bonuses, free spins when you're about to quit. It's not gambling anymore. It's behavioral science. And the scariest part, you don't even need to consider yourself a gambler. Millions of people are playing slot-style mobile games every day without realizing they're feeding the same addiction that built Vegas in the first place. The phone turned gambling from a destination into a habit. And once that happened, Vegas stopped being special. It stopped being the only place you could lose yourself. Because now, you can do that anywhere.
Part 5. The aftermath on the Strip. You can feel it the second you step onto the casino floor. Something's missing. The lights are still flashing, the music's still playing, but the energy's gone. On weeknights, whole sections of casinos sit dark. Dealers stand around empty tables, chatting to pass the time. Waitresses circle with trays that never get lighter. The slot areas that once packed in shoulder-to-shoulder crowds now have open chairs everywhere you look. It's not just in your head. Foot traffic is down, profits are shrinking, and casinos are cutting staff just to stay afloat. Some hotels quietly close off entire floors midweek to save on utilities. Others use self-check-in kiosks and robotic bartenders to replace people who've worked there for decades. The few tourists who do come aren't spending like they used to. They're splitting meals, skipping shows, and walking past the tables without even sitting down. Meanwhile, the big players, the whales, are vanishing. Many of them have moved to online VIP programs that treat them like royalty. Private hosts, cashback bonuses, personalized tournaments, all from home. No jet, no suites, no tipping required. Vegas used to be the place where dreams collided with luck. You could walk in broke and walk out a legend. Now it feels more like a theme park, expensive, polished, and strangely hollow. Employees feel it too. The cocktail servers talk about shrinking shifts. Pit bosses say they've never seen the rooms this quiet. Even the dealers admit that sometimes hours go by without a single real gambler sitting down. On the surface, the city keeps pretending everything's fine. The lights never dim, the fountains still dance, and the ads still scream, "What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas." But behind that facade, you can see the truth. A city that's lost its purpose. Because when the gambling leaves Vegas, what's left? Just a collection of hotels, half-full nightclubs, and neon signs fighting to stay relevant in a world that moved on without them. Vegas hasn't died. It's just running on empty.
Part 6. Vegas's desperate pivot. Vegas has always been a master of reinvention. When the mob left, it turned corporate. When gambling slowed, it sold luxury. And when families stopped coming, it pivoted to nightlife and EDM. So it's no surprise that now, as gambling drifts online, the city's trying to find its next identity. But this time, it feels different. The Strip is chasing influencers. Resorts are building Instagrammable experiences. Giant art installations, pop-up selfie museums, pink neon hallways designed for social media clips instead of actual guests. Every casino wants to be the next viral background. Pool parties that used to attract high rollers now target TikTok creators. Clubs spend more money on LED walls and camera setups than on sound systems. And hotels are building rooftop cocktail bars not for drinkers, but for content. You can feel the shift. Vegas isn't selling risk anymore, it's selling aesthetic. The new Las Vegas isn't about gambling or winning, it's about being seen. The energy that once came from adrenaline now comes from attention. The irony is, the more the city tries to modernize, the more it loses its soul. The gamblers, the ones who gave Vegas its identity, have been replaced by influencers filming dance trends in the same lobbies where million-dollar bets used to be made. Even the casino floors feel like movie sets now. Clean, bright, almost too perfect. Everything looks the part, but it doesn't feel real anymore. Vegas used to have an edge, a danger, a pulse. Now it feels corporate, cautious, and desperate to please everyone. They call it evolving, but to the people who built this city, the dealers, the waitresses, the pit bosses, the locals, it feels more like an identity crisis. Because Vegas was never meant to be safe. It was meant to be wild. And somewhere between the hashtags and the LED screens, the city forgot that. So yeah, Vegas is still alive. The lights are still on. The fountains are still dancing. But it's not the same city that once defined sin. It's chasing something it can't catch, trying to stay relevant in a world where the real casino is already in your pocket.
Las Vegas, the city that bet against itself. Las Vegas was always built on a gamble, a desert mirage that shouldn't have existed, but did, because people believed in the magic of chance. You came here to take a risk, to win or lose something real. But when gambling went online, that connection disappeared. No road trip, no neon skyline, no shared energy of the crowd. Just an endless scroll of digital bets, cold, instant, invisible. And in chasing that convenience, we forgot what made Vegas special in the first place. Now, the same corporations that once sold us dreams under the glow of neon lights are selling us digital dopamine hits through glowing screens. It's efficient, it's profitable, but it's not Vegas. And that's the tragedy of it all. Las Vegas didn't lose to another city, it lost to itself, to greed, to short-term thinking, to the belief that you can copy magic with an app and still call it the same show. So the next time you see those empty casino floors, remember, this isn't the story of a city that got old. It's the story of a city that forgot who it was. Because Vegas was never just about gambling. It was about being there. And no matter how good the internet gets, that's one thing it can never recreate.